Welcome to Sweet Soul Synergy TV, where we aim to bring you inspiring, motivating, and thought-provoking conversations to those seeking higher consciousness. My name is Stephanie, and I'm your host and the owner of SweetSoulSynergy.com. And today my guest theme is Liz Curran. She's the VP of the company Heal Thy Life and a Radical Remission workshop trainer and health coach. So please welcome Liz Curran. We should really get into the Radical Remission and talk about that a little bit. So let's do that, and then I'd like to go back into a little bit of the emotional component of illness and prevention as well. So if you want to talk a little bit more about the Radical Remission.
So I recently participated in a workshop teacher training that is based on the book Radical Remission by Dr. Kelly Turner. This book was introduced to me by a friend of mine who had been living it, and the philosophy behind the book is that Kelly Turner traveled the world and researched for her PhD over 1,500 different cases of radical remission, because nobody was asking the question, what happened after their last doctor's appointment and then the one they went when they were in remission. That empty space is not published anywhere. So she really wanted to know what the answer to that question was. So she made it kind of her life's work to ask that question and find the answers. So she created, through all of her interviews and her research, she researched people back as early as the 1800s and traveled to the far corners of the earth and spoke with people in great detail and compiled over 70 different factors that they each did in some way, and honed it down to 9 that they all did. So all of those 1,500 cases all practiced this in some way. So each chapter of the book and the way the workshop is built, we go through these 9 factors and really hone in on what the factor is, an example of somebody that she personally interviewed that is living it, and then the PubMed article that's published, peer-reviewed scientific research that backs it, so that then people can really kind of hold on to it more tangibly. And then for the workshop, we then take everybody in the room through an activity that really helps them delve into each of those aspects. So the question, and I was just going to read you off the 9 different factors. There's 2 that are very tangible. Something that you can actively take or do, changing your behavior, is radically changing your diet. Using herbs and supplements is the other. Okay. So that's something where we absolutely recommend and that they speak with a licensed practitioner or someone that is certified to be diagnosing what supplements they need based on their different deficiencies that they have. So that is not something that we as instructors will ever share, unless of course there's an instructor who is licensed to do so. So changing your diet and taking herbs and supplements are 2 that are kind of more tangible, but the others are much more emotional based, like as you were saying. Taking control of your health, feeling like you're in the driver's seat of your decisions. And a lot of times with cancer patients, that's not something they get. They don't have the luxury of control. They get a diagnosis one day, and then the next day they're making their appointments for chemo or surgery, and they don't even have time to really absorb the information and do their kind of due diligence looking around at what their options are because of fear, which is very common in this situation. So another one is following your intuition, making sure that you really feel true to the path that you're on. And that can be conventional, that can be completely holistic, but you really have to believe that that path is the right one. Releasing suppressed emotions is another one, making sure that you're getting all of the things out that are bottled up, really allowing yourself to address what those things are and help, through the workshop, we kind of help bring to light some of what those things might be, and then steps on how they can work through releasing them. And then to pair with that is increasing your positive emotion. So making sure every day you're practicing gratitude, or that you're finding joy, whether it's, petting your dog for a minute, or having a great time with a friend with laughter, or watching comedy. A lot of times there are people who might be on kind of like a more depressed state based on their diagnosis have been known to force themselves into happiness, even if it's just 5 minutes a day. It's a muscle that has to get worked, so that you can kind of trick your body into feeling those positive emotions, and through over time, really making it a practice and allowing your body to release the hormones that increase the positive emotions in your body. And then the other couple ones that are listed: embracing your social support, so allowing yourself to really have your village, but lean on them when you need it, and not just knowing that maybe a parent or a friend is always going to offer to help make a meal or take you to an appointment or walk your dog, but just knowing that you can ask, and then having the ability to know that you should ask, because a lot of times you might feel like you have the support system, but you may not ask for help, and asking for help is so important because not everybody knows what you need. And making sure that you really feel like when you ask for help and someone can do it, the feeling that you get inside of getting that help is just tenfold compared to when somebody offers something that they think you need.
Right, absolutely.
So that's a pretty powerful one. Deepening your spiritual connection is another one. We don't go heavy into any religion specifically, but just making sure people realize the importance of believing that they're part of something greater. That could be just even a walk in nature. It could be meditation. It could be through their specific spiritual practice, but just making sure that they're aware of the importance that is important, that it has a role in their life. And then the last chapter of the book is having a strong reason for living. So making sure that they have that big sense of purpose and that they really feel like there's something more for them left on this earth to do. So those factors all together is part of this workshop that I facilitate.
Okay.
And then if people need to dive in a little deeper, that's where the Radical Remission health coaching comes in.
That's really phenomenal. And I really think that this is the path of the future in terms of healing, because a lot more people are not, like I said, when my mom went in and it was like, well, we don't know why. People want to know why.
Right.
They have what they have. And a lot of times that comes from an emotional basis, maybe something that's suppressed.
Right.
Or perhaps it is from a diet change, or perhaps it is from, there's a lot of different components that make up illness. It's not just, you can't just go in and say, okay, well, we don't know, or maybe it was this, or, like, as a perfect example with my mom, just to bring that up, is she wasn't a smoker, she ate healthy, there were a lot of factors that weren't checking off with the boxes that typically check off for that disease. So then you're like, well, what is the cause? And you have to look at the emotional aspect of it then, and you can go through those different levels and say what's next.
And the factors are not intended to be a cure. It's really just to aid and ally with the treatments that they choose, so that they feel empowered and they're immune boosters. That's really the spin that we take on it, is that they're giving the body tools to release great emotions, hormones, to feel the positive emotions and send serotonin and dopamine through your body, and really boost you up, and releasing the negative and getting the feeling of relief that comes with letting go. And then, obviously the other factors, there's a lot in there, but something that Heal Thy Life does is we do some documentary screenings, and currently we're showing something called Code Blue. Okay. And it's a documentary that'll be coming out, I think, in 2021. Okay. And so that's a documentary not specific to cancer, but more chronic illness, autoimmune disorders. It takes a journey through a doctor who's going through an MS diagnosis. Okay. And lifestyle medicine is the term that is really pumped through that video. And it's a really great documentary, and we're happy to share it. Had a couple of showings, and we have a couple more lined up. And we just like to share through our nonprofit as part of our education platform, is just getting the word out, and it's free. We just have people come and we have them observe it. And the one we have coming up in January, we're going to pair it with a doctor who wants to have a Q&A and offer that to people. So if they want to watch the movie and then have that kind of Q&A with the doctor, we have that ability as well. That's really, really good. That's good, and we'll make sure that we revisit that when you guys are doing that as well. And I like the idea of, it's funny, we were talking about Joe Dispenza, and he wrote a book called You Are the Placebo, and that whole idea of believing, and so that choice is so important, whether you choose conventional or you choose a holistic path, being able to make that choice, being supported, having a support team with that choice, and taking advantage of what you guys are doing and supporting people and kind of, guiding them on their journey, like you said, to help boost their immune system or positive emotions or something, on their journey. But that belief in them saying, this is my choice, this is what I've chosen, and I believe this is going to be the best for me is really powerful as well. So now I did want to also focus on prevention. Yes. And the idea of prevention used to be, and still is very much so, let's early detection, early testing. But now that more people are taking control of their lives, and I know we discussed this, it's not everyone, but there are more people who are doing that. What does prevention look like in the next 5 years? What does that look like? Well, so far what I have come to know in my experience as a coach is that typically people don't seek out prevention or lifestyle change until they're motivated. Whether that could be diabetes diagnosis, it could be a friend being ill, it could be just whatever their wake-up call is. Everybody has a different thing that motivates them. And obviously you and I both had a loss, so we're very passionate about treating our body with as much respect and health as we possibly can. I love the idea that people would be proactive with their health and seek preventative behaviors. It's just very difficult in our culture to break through all the clutter, and there's a lot of times people don't really even make the connection that their personal behaviors are having those kinds of results. And there is in no way to shame people for that at all. It's just maybe lack of our culture having that knowledge and just kind of trusting the process and not really advocating for ourselves. And really, that's kind of part of it is, believing that we're important and that we're enough, and that taking time maybe to, shift things around in the evening to make dinner does not seem like self-care. But having the ability to make dinner as opposed to grabbing a quick fixed meal is self-care, because you're really fueling your body with nutrients if you're making the right foods to support your health. And I was at a conference last week where the author James Clear referred to the 1%. So every change that we can make, even if it's just 1% of a change, it all adds up, and the cumulative effect of all of those 1% changes. People want a quick fix diet, but if you do 1% changes every week for a year, 1 year out, you're going to see a completely different person.
Right.
So it's pretty amazing when you think about, as a coach, what you do is help people with baby steps and how to implement what their goals are so that they see the result. And the important thing is to stay on track and just really stick with it and make the commitment from a prevention perspective, really making that commitment to yourself forever so that you really are going to realize great long-term health.
Yep, absolutely. I agree with that. And I was thinking as you were saying that we typically thought of holistic, I think before, or at least I did when I first wasn't really aware of it, as a different diet, change your food. And guess what? Everything's going to be magical when you do that. And for a lot of people it is, they're just changing their diet does change things. For other people, not so much, they change their diet and they're like, okay, well, why do I still have all the same problems, know? And I think what we're beginning to understand is that holistic means like the Radical Remission, looking at all the different components of wellness. What is wellness? It's not just one thing, it's so many different components. And I am so interested to see, 10 years from now, what people, because I have found just in the last few years that more people are taking accountability for their health, and more people are trying to transform themselves, whether it's their mind, like I said, the mind work with Joe Dispenza's work, or it's body, it's nutrition, it's supplements, or it's spirit, a spiritual connection, kind of opening yourself to a higher awareness and, higher connection to a higher being. So that's all really wonderful stuff. So let's go into the events, some of the events that are going to be happening, or if you want to touch on too, some of the events that were really big ones for you guys in the past as well.
Sure. So some upcoming events that we have actually I'll talk about some events that we've had in the past that we really, really enjoyed having. We kicked off our nonprofit began with a track meet and a health expo, and that was really a great event. Our nonprofit began because our friend was sick, and we had this fundraiser for her. And then when we realized the support that was behind the mission, we realized that we needed to continue because our friend had her own remission situation. So we didn't need to fundraise for her. We just wanted to continue to fundraise for the cause. So together we all worked and created this kind of business that we are now. So we had the Track Meet and a Health Expo 2 times. We've had a health symposium, which was really great with lots of really engaging speakers and a beautiful vegan lunch. And it was a really great event, and we're hoping to have another one of those in the spring with some other business partners. And then what we've done since then is we're trying to really have some classes to educate people on different modalities. So like you said, we met at a Qigong class that we offered. that was paired with sound healing, because not everybody knows about Qigong and not everybody knows about sound healing, and they were a beautiful pairing, and we were so grateful that both of those practitioners were willing to donate their time to our organization. We've had some of the Code Blue documentary screenings. We have a big Halloween party coming up. It's a big fundraiser on October 19th. We'd love to invite everybody, South Jersey and Philadelphia area, to come. It's in the Collingswood Community Center on October 19th, and I actually have an invitation just for you
Oh, thank
to come.
you. Very
we
cool.
hope that you can make it. But it's going to be a great night. We're going to have live DJ. We're going to have all the local restaurants of Collingswood and the surrounding towns are offering their signature dish, and we have some great beer from Tonewood, one of the local breweries, as well as a silent auction, a basket auction, a costume contest. So it's going to be a fun-filled night, and we invite everybody to come, and we're really looking forward to raising some funds. And ultimately, one thing I didn't really speak about, which is the heart of our entire organization, is our beneficiaries. We have wonderful beneficiaries that we fund. When we have the funds, we will support them with some of their physician-assisted care that isn't covered by health insurance.
Okay.
So things that might be kind of more on the holistic side that might partner with their conventional treatment. In addition, we also have a volunteer base of practitioners that have oncology background from massage therapy and yoga and things of that nature, where we have free services for our beneficiaries. So then they are able to really maximize trying different modalities that they wouldn't normally use in a conventional setting.
Okay.
So
very nice.
yeah.
Well, what I'm going to do is make sure that we'll have the link available for people to donate if they'd like,
Yes, that's
both
great.
on sweetsoulsynergy.com, on our Facebook pages, as well as at the bottom of this video, and
Great.
Also your website as well, so people
Yes.
can connect to you through Facebook and
Yes.
make sure that they can attend this lovely event where it says eat, drink, and be scary.
Yes, we do have a lot of Facebook presence. We welcome people to, if you need to, it's pronounced Heal Thy Life, but it's easy to find it under Healthy Life NJ for New Jersey, both on Instagram and on Facebook, and then our website is healthylifenj.org.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much for being
thanks for
with
having
us,
me.
Liz. It's been really wonderful. Thank you to all my sweet souls for tuning in to this episode. See you next time. Bye.